Hey everybody, Jo here again. How are you doing? I hope your week started well and I hope you had a lovely weekend. Now, as always, I'm looking forward to spending some lovely crafty time with you. And in our calendar, today we're in July. Now, this is the idea I've come up with and I've just practiced it on copier paper. And I've got a reason for that, and it's because of what I'm going to be using. The idea, it all started, as you know, I'm taking inspiration from the lovely printed design at the bottom, and it was these beautiful moss flowers. So I was thinking how to use the moss flowers. Now, if you joined me last Tuesday, we created one of our lovely Lavinia baubles. And to create the bauble, so I'm just going to move this out of the way for the moment, into a space that I haven't really got, but there we go. So to use the bauble, we used some of this acetate, the printed acetate from Lavinia. Now, unfortunately, you will get a bit of a glare from my light, so I do apologise. And I was thinking, obviously on here, we get 4. So what else can we do with them? And I did teach a workshop recently at Lavinia, and we made a card design with one of them. So I'm thinking, as well as a card, maybe I could put it in my lovely calendar. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, there are various designs, so do check them out on the website. Lots of different ones, and they're also different sizes. So these are the 8 centimetre, so do check the size as well. There are larger ones, and these are the 10 centimetre. So lots of choice. So I'm going to put those to one side. I love the way I keep saying one side. Honestly, if you could have an overview of my craft table, it's crammed. I don't know if yours is the same. Now, if I can bring this back in. So the design here, look, is using one of those lovely acetate circles. And the idea is I'm hoping I'm going to attach it. And that's sort of design, roughly, I'm going to get in my lovely calendar. So I'm just going to move this for the moment, and I'm just going to show you how I coloured them in. Now, you don't have to colour the acetate if you don't want to. You can use, with it being acetate, it takes alcohol inks really well. So if you've got your alcohol inks and you've not used them and you want a project, just remember, well ventilated area, no pets, that sort of thing. You can decide which side you want to add the colour. The colour goes on the back. Now, if it's one of the ones like, obviously the one I've got for my design that has got writing on, you need to add the colour on the back. Now look at that, there's the back. Now the beauty of it on the back, I'm going to use Posca pens today. You can colour over where the printed parts are. So yes, the back does look like that. You know, I'm showing you, but then you've got that beautiful design on the front. So I won't colour all of this, but I'll just give you a quick insight of how. So I'm going to use, again, it might be you want to have 2 of these facing each other. So you could colour one way, one the other. Totally up to you. It might be you want it facing a certain way for a project. Again, it's just if it's got the writing on, that gives you a clue. So when you Posca pens, remember, they've got a ball bearing in, acrylic paint, permanent when dry. Give it a good shake. And a little tip, if you've got one of these watches that does your steps, the more you shake your Posca, it's magic, Lavinia magic, the more steps you do. So I'm just going to start and add a bit of this, you know, the sparkly yellow. Now if I turn it over, so remember I'm colouring on the back. So look, I can just do a bit of speed colouring here. Don't judge me. We all need a bit of speed colouring every so often. But look, if you turn it over, how lovely is that? And it really does look so golden, this gorgeous sparkly yellow. You know it's my favourite. And I love the fact you can buy it on its own. So if I just show you, so I would add that there, maybe some highlight in the wing. And if I'd show it, put it over, again, I'm sorry if you're getting a bit of glare. But if I didn't have my light on, you won't be able to see a thing. Now, when it comes to these bits, you can decide. I mean, if you're going Christmas, maybe you'll want to add one colour. Maybe you want to make it look more like a sort of stained glass window. So it might be you want to do more of a, if I add blue there. And the other thing is, as the posca dries, you can go back in and add another layer. So my suggestion would be to sort of do this earlier. You know, add some colour and then leave it to dry, go off and do something else, and then come back and add a bit more. So if I was going for sort of a stained glass look, I could colour each part, and I'll just turn it over to show you. So you see, I try and get it, so you see how, I'm trying to get it without that, but you get the gist. And honestly, in real life, without the glare, it looks fabulous as it dries. And you can go back in. If you see any bits, my suggestion is don't put it too heavy to start off with, because you can always go back in on top and add another layer. And if you want to blend your colours, just pop some posca. My tip would be on your acrylic block. Remember, it's water-based. Your water brush, your Lavinia water brush, and paint it, and you can blend it. And honestly, if you need a project, just buy a sheet of 4 and have a play. It is so relaxing, so rewarding, and it's nice because it's something a bit different. Sometimes I think if you've not been well, or if Mr. Mojo goes, we just want something a bit different to do. And it's just that excitement. You know, the workshop where watching the ladies colouring them, and as they got more confidence and were adding the colours and blending, oh, do check social media, because Tracy put a video on of the most fabulous work that the ladies did. It was amazing. And I know you are going to have so much fun with these. So I'm going to leave that one there. But obviously, you would just spend time and just keep colouring. You can also use your gel pens. So many things you can do. I mean, I have a good selection of these at different stages. So I'm going to bring this back in and we'll work on the calendar now. So as normal, I've got some copy paper underneath, and then I've got a piece of copy paper just to protect this area, because I know me, I'm going to lean on that. And to give me an idea of where my cutout's going to go, I'm just going to use my lovely circle mask, my acetate circle mask, and I'm coming in with olive today. But again, you can choose depending on what your design's like and what colour. But I just want to give sort of a bit of a backdrop. So I'm just going to gently, gently tickle. And again, if you're worried that the colour's too strong, just add it on the acetate mask bit first. And just come in towards the middle. Nice circular motions. Might put you in a bit of a trance, but don't worry. And then when you're happy with the colour, so I'm happy with that. So we'll put the lid on, otherwise you know what'll happen. And we'll give this a wipe. So while I'm just cleaning, how are you feeling? I hope you're feeling okay. I know a couple of you have been struggling recently, and there's quite a few bugs going round. I think spring, autumn, we tend to get a bit of maybe flu bugs, a bit of the old COVID. So I hope you're doing okay. If you're struggling and you're not so well, you know, take a big hug from all us on here. The Lavinia family give you a big hug, a nice warm one, possibly with a little hot chocolate or something like that, just to make you feel better. Now, if we look at the finished, now I've cut this out and cut the tab off. You can leave the tab if you want. If you're making a card design, it's nice to have the tab on, but I decided to cut mine off. But if I look, what I did was I decided we've got the beautiful Fir Cone Branch there. So I thought, I know I can use that in the design. If you're not sure, again, just bring in your acetate. So I'm going with the black because we've got the black stamping here. So with my Versafine Clair, again, nice permanent ink, just going to ink up. and I've got a little bit on my block here, so I just need to wipe that off, because for me it would show. And then I'm just going to stamp once here, and again give it a good press, and then I'm going to come in again, and I just want this to follow up further, so I'm going to come in just here, and again give that a good firm press, and then just one on this side. And if you're not sure, keep bringing your little circle cut out back and have a look. Now the thing is, because we're going to glue this flat, it won't make your calendar too bulky, which is something you need to watch. If you decoupage too much, when you're doing the future pages, I found it almost made the calendar too bulky, but this won't. So I'm thinking, just to sort of even it up, we'll have one up there. And again, if I bring that back in, yeah, happy with that. So I just want to give that a bit of a blot. Again, remember, it's a slow drying ink, so we want to make sure that we don't smudge it. Now what I have done to tie the design in, I've got my beautiful moss flowers here, and there's 4 gorgeous flowers in the set. And what I tend to do is just get any scrap card, and I do keep, and I'm sure you're the same, do you keep every little piece of card that you've got? Because do you know I do. But what I think is we need to try and use them. It's no good just keeping them. So my suggestion is get all those little odd bits and stamp yourself some of your moss flowers. And then just to add colour to them, what I've done is I've got a selection of my Mondelez pencils. And just so you know the colours, I'm using number 1, 18, 8, 179, 177 and 19. I should have said in no particular order, shouldn't I? So because, and again, I took inspiration from the way I'd coloured this in. And obviously I've used quite a lot of blue, but then I've got that lovely yellow. So the way I decided to go was to colour the flowers with the blue. So, and again, you know me, I have a bit of a cheat way of colouring. So I want the nice dark blue in the middle, just so it gives it a bit of oomph. And you know what I'm going to do, it's the usual. And then the lighter blue. Now again, it might be you want an afternoon, and you know what, you could stamp some of these, colour them, and just spend the afternoon colouring in. I mean, that would be lovely, wouldn't it? Get yourself a nice cheeky brew and a biscuit. And just relax. Just forget about everything else in the world. Stay in your little happy place and do some lovely colouring. And you know what? That's what's important. You're so important. And what I did, the reason I've got the white, the number 1, when I'd finished, I just went over, and what I found is the white, just for me, it blends, and any edges I've missed, look, it almost moves that colour and it blends it beautifully. So for me, it's worth just going over with the white. Now, I will get a bit of blue on my nib, but I just clean that off at the end. So that's what I did. Now, on a couple of them, I've added a little bit of the purpley colour as well, just so that they're not all the same. Now, obviously, I've cut these out ready because I thought, you know, you don't want to watch me cut them out. To bring in the yellow tones, I got my... Look, can you tell when I was at Lavinia recently, I got myself a new one because, you know, I go through so many of these. And I just used the yellow sparkly posca to edge. And I tend to edge before I cut out. Now, between you and me, that's just because if I go out of the lines, I can cut it off and nobody would ever know. And then alongside that, I use the Jelly Roll, the metallic. And I just added some little dots in the middle. And where we've got those black dots, I just added a couple. And then it just brings in that lovely design. And so all those colours will go. And then I would let that dry just for a couple of minutes before cutting it out. So back to our lovely calendar page. And I'm just going to come in and colour, just add a little bit. Now, just going to get a piece of kitchen roll. Sorry, Eric. Eric's fast asleep again. Just so I can lean on it, just in case I've got anything on here. And I just want to add a little bit of colour. Not too much, just to these lovely fir cones. And I've gone for sort of the browny, reddy, purpley colour. I didn't want to go just brown. But again, I always think it's your calendar. You know, you just use the colours that you wish. It's magic anyway. If it's a Lavinia calendar, it's magic, so you can have any colours. And then once again, I'll bring that in. Now, when it was dry, look, I have added with my white Jelly Roll, just with the Signo, just a couple of highlights at the front. So what I'm thinking now, the best thing is we can glue this and then I can see where to put my lovely moss flowers. Now to glue it, it's the Bippity Boppity glue. Now you know I struggle saying that. Kev, just Lavinia glue next time please. Now my suggestion is put the glue where you've got darker colour or you've... Oh, my glue's decided to be... Right, come on. We're here, we're with friends. Don't not work. Need my unbunger, don't I? Right, bear with me, ladies and gents. It's bound to happen when we're live, isn't it? Don't go anywhere. I'm on it. I'm just... Talk amongst yourselves. Right, I've got it. There we go. Sorted. So put your glue where you've got either the dark bit or you've got some of the silhouette where it's printed. So I'm just going to add a couple of bits like that. And then turn it over. And it's a dry as clear glue, your Bippity Boppity glue. And also remember, it gives you that bit of wiggle time. So you can get it just perfect. So I'm happy with that. Now what I'm thinking, let's add the flowers. Now I'm going to bring my little design over so that I can see where I added them. And again, just a little bit of the Bippity Boppity glue. Now I've unbunged it. And I want them quite flat, but I'm thinking if I put one here, look, it'll just go over the design. And it looks nice that, because it sort of brings it all together. I'm not adding too much, just a couple of little, and I think one there. Now, obviously, your design, you can add the flowers just wherever you fancy. I'm going to add a couple at the top now. And if you don't like where the branch ends there, look, again, that's a perfect place just... Oh, hope you didn't hear that, my tummy rumbled. Perfect place just to put... I'll blame Eric. Just to put a flower, look. And we'll put another one here. Right. I don't want to overdo it, but I'm thinking one more there. Now, what I'm thinking is, if you look from a distance, I've got another flower that I've cut out. But what I'm thinking is I also cut out one of the butterflies, and I thought she could be looking up at the butterfly. So again, I'm thinking if I put that there, I've got one more flower. Let me just have a look. If I move this away, maybe if I can see the whole thing together. Now I need to know, what do you think? Do you think we should put one down here? Do you think that cascades? Oh, I don't know, you see. Or do I put one there? I want them heavier on this side, I think. I want that lighter. I like the 3 there, but I definitely want another. I'm going to go for there. Otherwise, I'll be doing that thing, and I'm sure we've all done it. You know where you spend ages? I'm going to pop that one under. Yes. And then when I've cut my butterfly out, look, I've cut his antennae off. So what I'm thinking is, just with my black fine liner, we'll draw them back on. It doesn't alter the design. I could have stamped it. That's the other thing you can do, is stamp. But I'm thinking I'm just going to draw them on, and then again put that flat so that she's looking up. Now I'm going to put the lid on my glue. And then finally, to draw the whole thing together, I'm going to get that beautiful yellow sparkly Posca pen. Get a stencil brush, which is alive, and just add, just over, especially where the flowers, and then I'm going to bring it down and just add, I'll lift it up to show you, just to bring it, make it look a nice cohesive design, and that the whole page. So at the bottom here where I've just added, I cleaned my brushes on this bit, so with the blue and the purple brushes, I've just cleaned them and added a little bit of colour, so it subtly brings the whole lot together. So I'm thinking, let's remove this, but just add a couple of lovely sentiment stickers. So if I get my scissors ready, and I think we're going to go be kind, because that's lovely, and we should all be kind, shouldn't we? And I think that will just fit lovely in that space there. And then I think we need count your blessings, because again, and we can put that one down here, and that will follow, your eye will follow the lovely. And there we have it. So I'm just going to leave that to dry. But I hope you like that, and I hope you have a go and have a look at these fabulous printed acetate sheets. There is so much you can do with them. Now I think this would make a lovely card if you need a special card for somebody, and especially if it's somebody who you've sent cards to before, it's just something different. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you're joining in the calendar with me. I know a couple of ladies at our workshop last weekend bought the calendars, and they're going to start in January. So ladies, I hope you're catching up well, and that by the time you get to July, can't wait to see. Please share with me. I'd love to see what designs you do. And if you use these acetates, please again, share your designs. They make fabulous cards, journal pages, calendar pages. Right, I'm off now. Enjoy your evening, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Love and hugs from me. Bye for now.